Altijd in focus, nee. Hi.
Hey. Welcome.
Should we just dive
Are we
into
filming
it?
already?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, before we start, are we going to do like a podcast to put it all up? Or are we just going to do
I
just
think
little
we'll just.
clips? Or?
I think we'll just upload the whole thing to YouTube, and then we'll cut up shorts as well.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Cool. So, how are you, bro?
Good. Welcome to my villa. Okay, so welcome to Uncomfortable Conversations 101.
Welcome to our first conversation
Yeah, let's do it.
on the podcast.
Let's do it. What are we talking about?
We're actually talking about something inside now, and then we stopped talking about it because we thought we needed to film this and not go too deep into it until we were recording. So
Yeah. Okay. So
what,
I think
what were we talking about?
regarding the whole concept of sex before marriage and just like sleeping around and lust and all of those kind of things and what you want in your wife one day and where your thoughts are regarding that. So I'm just going to bounce the first question to you and then we'll just take the conversation as it goes.
Okay, should we give him a little bit of background just before?
You go first. Yeah.
So
shoot.
we're both very connected with God. I believe Timon's much more dedicated and he's way deeper into the process and he takes it way more seriously. I'm going to say connection with God, but your commitment to God and the Bible over everything.
Maybe slightly different beliefs, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. So I'm also quite new. So I found God maybe about 8 months ago, something like that, or maybe a bit more, maybe a year now. And I follow a lot of it, but this is one topic that I'm really not totally there with yet. And I'm not sure I actually want to get convinced either. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. But yeah, let's go into it.
Okay, so I think we'll just backtrack from where we started there. So we're potentially probably going to a festival here tonight because it's actually New Year's here in Thailand. What do they call it?
Song Kong?
Yes, something like that.
Jung, something like that.
Something like that. So they have this big festival, these parties and stuff, and we might go pop in later to see
Which is why I'm soaking wet.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go see what the nightlife's like, and the conversation just kind of took off, and we're like, well, what happens if you hook up with a girl? And I just said, nothing would happen. And then we just kind of started chatting from there.
So my question was, because we're going to go out, there's going to be females. He's obviously very attractive as well. So I was like, so what happens if like you meet a nice girl, and so you're not going to bring her home, or you're not going to advance? Can you kiss her? Like, where are the limits? And like, what are your beliefs and what is, because you've not been out in a while.
Yeah, it's like been like 2-3 years now that I haven't touched alcohol, drugs, or been out, like even at a place. Today's going to be the first time.
That's crazy. I haven't drunk in about a year. Probably drank about 3 times. I was sober for like 3 months. I am on antibiotics, but I might have a drink tonight. I'm not sober anymore, but I haven't been drunk in about 6 months or something like that. But yeah, so my question was, what would you do if you met an incredible woman today at the beach club? Like, what would be your limits? How far would you go? Just tell us a bit about what your mentality is there.
I think it comes down to the person, bro, like your heart and your intentions, like whether you feel conviction about it or not. And so for me, just hooking up with random people is wrong. I wouldn't do it. Like if I meet a nice person, we'd probably have a good conversation and have a chat, and I'll be sober, which would help a lot to the process. And I might get a number, and that's it.
Okay, so a random person for you, what's that? Like, you meet them on the same day, that's random, then the second day you meet them would be different, or?
If I have the intentions to date someone, then we potentially might kiss or something like that. But
first day? Possibility?
No. I guess it's a slight possibility. It's
There's
always a possibility.
I saw the possibility in
I
there.
think it's all about your intentions, bro. Like, if I meet this girl, and in my mind, or like, let's say I meet this really beautiful girl, but she's drunk out of her mind, but she's gorgeous, but I can just see smoking, I can just see this is not the kind of girl I want to be with, I would not hook up with her. Because I know in the back of my mind I would never marry this girl in 100 years. So if I hooked up with her, it would purely be for pleasure in the moment. But if I met a really sweet girl, we get along well, and in the back of my mind I'm like, well, there's no big red flags and there is a potential that I might end up with this girl or marry this girl, I would probably kiss her and not feel bad about it.
Okay. So that would be your line then?
That's my line,
that would be your maximum?
That would be my maximum.
If you thought there could be a future with this girl and she was a very decent girl.
But again, I wouldn't bring her home or something like that because now I'm putting myself
not
in a
even
difficult...
for a cuddle?
No, because cuddle is just going to lead to something else, which is going to lead to something else. It's just temptation, bro, and it's going to lead to lust. I wouldn't put myself in that position. It just makes it harder. Like, why would I do that?
And then I also asked him before we started filming, like, so why would you even go out if you didn't want to be tempted? And he says he's been locked in for about 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been out in like literally 3 years. And also I have this thing with alcohol where I had this destructive habit where I used to get smashed and just hook up with girls and wake up not remembering anything. So it was destructive, so I wanted to leave that in the past. But now it's to a point where I haven't touched alcohol in like 2-3 years. And now I'm like, when I visit my dad, he's like, let's go get a beer, you know, at the restaurant or whatever. Now I'm sitting there with my dad. I see him like once a year. It's like a special moment. I'm like, but now I'm gonna like, I haven't touched alcohol in 2 years. Now I'm gonna break it for like a little beer. So I kind of just want to have one drink. So I'm just like on a clean slate again. So
Yeah.
I'm drinking again. But just like on special occasions like that, you know, and I feel like Thailand is the perfect spot for it.
It's definitely a good spot for it.
Yeah, so it's not like when I get drunk.
I started to put a label on myself when I went sober, and you start to be like, oh, now I'm the sober guy. And then you feel kind of like you have to like keep up that standard and not even have a drop of alcohol, which is hard. And I did it for 3 months, not even touching anything, and then another 2 months after that, not even touching anything, and a year where I haven't really been drunk at all. But now, because of that, my relationship with alcohol is so, it's so healthy. So I can go out and have 3 beers and I don't want any more alcohol. So I drink it and I'm like, this is cool, I'm having a good time. I don't want a hangover tomorrow and I don't want to carry on drinking. But I'm vibing, I'm having fun, I'm loosening up a little bit, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to get to now. But because obviously we all just teach based on what we went through, right? So during these last 2-3 years, it was very difficult to not go out and party and engage and stuff like that. So my message was, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But it's because my experience with it was very destructive. But I'm getting to a phase now where I can visualize myself like today, having one drink and having good laughs with good mates and then coming back home again. Like I can see it now,
carry on working later.
I couldn't see it back then. The only image I had was like going smashed, getting drunk, hooking up with as many girls as I can. And that's why I was like, don't do it. Yeah, 100%.
And going down the deep.
Yeah, it's a good place to get to eventually.
Yeah. So like when I was building my businesses and trying to be my best version, I still am. But when I really needed to cut it out was when I was drinking every weekend. And it was literally like I would try in the week, I would hit the weekend, go out with friends, get drunk 2 or 3 nights, and then I'd be hungover for a few days, and then I'd take a long time to get back into my routine, and I wouldn't be growing because I'd only be really working for like 3 days a week. At the end of it, you don't realize when you're in like the mix, but you're working like 3 days out of a week, and then when you stop alcohol and you stop that handbrake every weekend, you just progress so much faster. Your mind's clearer, and you really get a lot more done, and you can advance. But I don't think you need to be sober always, because you can have fun. You can have a few drinks and you can have fun. There's like a time and a place for everything, you know. When you're on the come up and you want to really get locked in, probably take that out. Take the partying out. Take the alcohol out. Take the drugs out. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a position that you're more comfortable, then you can drink now and again and whatever you want to do. You can drink a lot if you wanted to, if that's your personality. Now you have money, now you have freedom, and now you're comfortable. But
I think it gets very difficult when you look at it from a Christian perspective. Like I'm still new on this journey where I'm like dedicated. Always considered myself Christian, but I was very lukewarm. Like I would just do drugs on Saturday and then like go to church on Sunday, and it was just like the vibe. But now, since I started like reading the Bible and trying to understand things and what God wants for me and how He wants me to live, I view things a little bit differently. So like, I honestly don't know. I think having a drink or two is fine, like from a biblical point of view. I think it's fine if your intentions are good.
Because the Bible doesn't say you need to be sober, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no because maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And they're like, but this verse says that.
I think it doesn't. I'm 99% sure it doesn't. There's even
I don't think you should get drunk, bro. I don't think you should get drunk.
There was even wine at the. I've heard there was wine in the Bible. I've read it a few times.
But the thing is, as soon as you get drunk, then it's kind of similar when we spoke about drugs earlier. When you drink a lot of wine, you become a different character, a different person. Then you do stuff you wouldn't normally do, and like I just value my clarity and being able to make decisions and know like what I do.
Yeah, I'm not going to quote anything from the Bible, but it doesn't say you need to be sober, but it does say a few things about being drunk, which are different things. Drinking and being drunk is very different. Yes, you can have 2 or 3 beers and you can be perfectly conscious of everything you're doing and just a little bit tipsy and more fun. But then when you get drunk and you don't know what you're doing anymore, that's when you don't know what you're doing anymore. And that's when problems happen. You sleep with girls you don't want to. You might pick fights with people you don't want to. You do things you don't want to do. And that's where the problem is.
I also think it depends like on your personality, right? Like what you said right there, because it's very easy for some people just to have, like where I am now, I can go have a drink or two and then come back and it's cool. But other people can't do that. Like they say they're going to go for one drink and then they just stay the whole night. It's kind of like what you just mentioned, if I bring a girl back just for cuddling, some people could potentially just do that.
I could do that.
I couldn't do that. I probably couldn't do that. So I guess it depends on your personality too, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I could bring her back and cuddle if I was definitely decided that I'm not going to do anything.
Okay, okay, so how do you feel about sleeping with girls? Like, are you fine with it?
Yeah, so my point now, I've never had a problem with girls. It's been something I've been blessed with that, you know, I'm very good at speaking with girls. I'm very outgoing. I'm not going to blow myself up. I'm a little bit attractive, but it's never been like a problem, like, oh no. So it's always been something that if I go out, I can get girls. The option's always there.
Yeah.
So now I've been trying to limit it, and it's something I don't need anymore. Before, I used to feel like there was a bit of a void of love.
Yeah.
So I used to just try and get girls, and I'm with this one, now I'm with this
one. It does
one.
make you feel good.
It makes you feel good.
As a man, like when you go out.
It's like a plaster on a wound.
Yeah.
And yeah, you feel great, you hook up with this really beautiful woman, and it's all good, and then a day after, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So I've just kind of stopped doing that, and I just limit it to it's kind of a distraction for me a lot of the time now. Because I'm so focused on growing myself as a person, I don't like to be distracted by too many girls. Like if there's a very nice, sweet girl and I meet her, then I'm going to go forwards with her. I'm going to advance, but...
What do you mean advance? Like sleep with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though you guys aren't dating?
If we weren't dating, no, I could sleep with her before we were dating.
Okay.
Yeah. And then see how I feel. Because also I like to feel how it is. Because a lot of time you sleep with a girl and then the moment after, you don't want anything to do with her. And you know you've made a wrong decision. Even if she's great, but you just know the connection's not there. And it's like, nah, it was for pleasure, and I've just realized, and that can happen. But then a lot of time I could sleep with someone and go, oh, she's really cute, and like I still want to carry on seeing her. That's a real good sign, a real positive sign for me to go forwards and be like, oh, I now want to carry on seeing her.
Yeah.
And then just moving on for that, like the girl that I was seeing before, my ex, we built a relationship. We were like best friends for like 2.5 years. So it was a relationship that wasn't built on sex at all. And then sex came into it. So I do think that's a healthier way of building a relationship. So starting without any sex and then going into it. But relationships can be built anyway.
I'm actually very fortunate, bro. Even before my walk with God really started, I always had conviction whenever I slept with someone, even back then when I did drugs and stuff. So it never felt right for me. So I can literally count on my one hand how many times I've slept with a girl. Like literally.
Wow.
So
On one hand?
Yeah, literally.
And how long have you not slept with a girl for?
Now it's been like 5 years, maybe 4 years.
5 years?
5 years, yeah, around there.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
You haven't slept with any girl?
No. And I wouldn't either before marriage. Like I will not, dude. I refuse to do it.
Okay, I need it. This is a very good point I want to talk about right now. So when I was very young and very new to the world,
Yeah.
because I lost my virginity when I was 17.
Yeah.
It's quite like late for males. In the world we live in. Would you not say?
Yeah, wow. I don't know how long you waited that long.
Woo! Where I grew up, that was a long time, okay?
In Africa?
Yeah, in West Africa. Yeah. So I had to say no a lot of the time, and I felt like I was a bit weird because everyone's like, why you say no to these girls? And I was like, I actually have a story. It's a bit maybe too much for this. So I actually got asked by 2 girls in my class. I remember I just turned 17. It was like just as I was about to turn 17 or just as I was turning. And they both asked to go in a room with me at the same time and perform oral sex on me at the same time.
How old were you?
I was about 17, 16,
Okay.
17. It was just a house party. We were drunk. And this is most guys' dreams, no? And I didn't do it. And because I was kind of scared still. I was still nervous. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And I was honestly waiting for the girl of my dreams at that time to lose my virginity with her. When I was like, since I was like 15 to like when I lost it at 17. And then one day I decided and I just lost it and that was it. But yeah, that was my first
I think if you've had a lot
understanding.
I think if you've slept with a lot of girls at a young age, it's harder to stop. Like, because I've literally done it, I can count on my one hand how many times. And I've done it like 5 years ago. So it's almost like that feeling whenever people ask me, how's cocaine feel? It's like, don't try it because you don't know what you're missing out on. I think it's a very similar concept because I've never been addicted to it or done it a lot. So it's
Yeah.
not like, I'm not. This is my
much
life. It's
easier like
normal.
that. I
then-
have been addicted on the other
Yeah,
end.
you see, that makes it. I think that makes it more difficult for people. But yeah, man, like every time I slept with someone, I had like so much conviction in my heart, even though I wasn't as close to God. So yeah, man, for me, my stance on it is just like no sex before marriage, and that's a big deal. And also, and I'll ask you the same thing. For me, this is where I lose Andrew Tate. So I mess with
Okay.
a lot of what he says. I love a lot of what he says. The way he just says it is sometimes very harsh. But this specific point, so from Andrew Tate's perspective, as a male gets older, his value increases, right? Because he makes more money at an older age. He tends to look better around 30 to 35 years old. So his value increases, according to
100%.
Tate, right?
It
I
should
agree
do.
with that. Yeah,
If,
I agree
if you
with
carry
that.
on improving yourself,
But-
it should do, yeah.
Years, and also years where I lose Tate. So he says girls' value increases the younger she is, and it decreases the older she is. Because the older she is, the more guys she slept with. Okay, and guys want a girl that haven't slept with a lot of guys. But that's why I lose him, because I feel like
Not
it's
my case,
I
but-
feel like it's fair play. So for example, if I want a girl that hasn't slept with a lot of guys, then I can't sleep with a lot of girls, in my mind. Andrew Tate, he's like, your value as a man increases the more girls you sleep with, because you're a man, you've slept with so many girls.
Because
I don't
more
think
girls want you.
I don't think that makes you a man. I think, like, staying away from that and not sleeping with a lot of girls, I think that increases your value as a man. So that's why I lose him. So over to your side, who's a little bit more chill regarding like sleeping with girls and stuff. When you marry a girl, like, are you fussy in terms of how many guys she must have slept with? Is like a number in your mind? Would you mind, not mind?
So, I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind?
No, because I believe you can change. And you might have been with a lot of guys before, and then you've realized that that's just not what you want anymore.
That's
and
fair.
that's not the type of life you want. And then you can
fair.
change and you're looking for something else. And I try not to judge people's pasts
That's fair.
more as
Very
where
fair.
they're at in their life at the moment. Because I know like most of us have different pasts. Like if
Yeah.
I'd have met you 10 years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah, different
we would have been
people.
two different people.
Yeah.
We might not even have connected.
That's fair,
We
bro.
might-
That's very fair. Fair point.
So I try not to judge them with how many girls I've slept with, but depending on the person they are right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my take on it, really.
Yeah, that's actually a very fair point, bro. That's a very fair point. And tell me, just like, I think we'll end it off because it's getting pretty long now. Final topic, Andrew Tate, real quick. What's your thoughts on the guy? Do you like him, love him, agree with him, don't agree with him?
I love him.
You love him?
Yeah, I think he is the biggest change to this world in our lifetime so far for the young male. I think he's a very positive role model. Obviously, some things he says, I don't agree with everything he says, of course, but everything he says is to catch attention, to then affect the youth in a positive way, is everything that I've seen. Obviously, there's some things when he speaks about women that I don't agree with, but 90% of what he says I do agree with. So, and you can never be perfect. He's not God, nobody's God, nobody's perfect. So if his message was 100% correct, he'd probably be God, wouldn't he? So, you know, I don't agree with everything, but yeah, he's a very positive role model. He's affected my life in many ways, and he's made me become a better person. He's made me want to work on myself, to build my character more, to work on my avatar, to stop being lazy, to stop settling for where I am, and to carry on progressing. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with that in a way, a lot. Andrew Tate is a difficult character because, like, if I had to ask you right now, do you like Eminem, for example? Your mind immediately jumps to yes or no based on his music, right? It jumps to music because that's what it is.
Yeah.
If I asked you like James LeBron, it immediately goes to what he does. Lionel Messi, same thing. Now if I ask you a question like, do you like Andrew Tate? Now you gotta like think by yourself, okay, like what am I measuring this on? His past, what he's currently doing, his business skills, his social media skills, his physique, like what am I overall, right?
Yeah, overall.
I mean, he's got a pretty bad past, but like I said, I would never like to judge someone by their past because then people could judge me by my past, right?
Yeah.
So, if
What's bad about his past, in your opinion?
him making money with OnlyFans
With
girls?
girls.
Yeah, with girls, I think that's wrong.
Webcam girls.
Yeah, and it's not just like the way he's done it, the way he presented it in the past. Like he made the girls seem like they were nothing and like these stupid people that he was just like basically stealing from and stuff. So I just don't like the way he's done it. I just didn't like the way he delivered his messages and stuff based on his old videos. But again, he went through that phase of his life.
Yeah, even that, I've heard like two different ends to this story as well. Like one that the girls were making more money than it ever made.
Yeah.
Now they had better jobs than they had before, and everyone was
Yeah.
making money. So it depends how it's told, how the story's told. And obviously, we weren't there, but
Yeah, I mean, we can obviously just base on what we see and hear, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we don't know everything. But the moral of the story is, if I met someone 8 years ago when I was in my prime party days, and they haven't met me since then, that guy's idea of me is going to be this party guy who's always drunk, getting wasted. That's always going to be his story about me until the day he meets me again.
exactly the same about
So
me.
I wouldn't want to give the same kind of thing to Andrew Tate and be like, oh, he's this guy, he's just like, it's good. I don't want to give that thing away because I don't know. We don't know what
Yeah.
he is like now.
I think that's how we have to be as well. because
Yeah,
you
we have
just-
to. We can't judge people by their past.
People,
But like,
people do change.
yeah,
You've changed a lot.
I've changed, so he can
I've
change
changed so
too.
much. It's
Yeah.
just I'm not the person I used to be. So it's everybody evolves and learns. Hopefully,
Yeah.
if you keep on trying to be your best self, you will evolve and change and be a totally different person. So
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate's general message in terms of like work hard, be disciplined, gym. I like that side. It's just the way he delivers the messages is very hardcore, and then also the general person can't like see through it. A lot of it's just marketing, right? He makes fun of everything and he mocks
Everything and
everything,
everyone.
and then people get upset. It's like, oh, he says this and that. It's like, how do people not recognize he's doing this for the intention? Like, I saw a video of him making fun of hiking, making fun of ice baths, making fun.
that one hurt me.
Making fun of sushi. Like, he makes fun of everything, and then
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, this guy and this guy. But I'm like, guys, come on, this guy's doing it for the attention.
This is why you don't have to agree with everything he says. You can be his biggest fan, and then he'll hit you with something that'll hurt you.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly. And
ice baths.
also, bro-
And I'll be like, oh god, thanks, bro.
And also, dude, like, I've never met someone who I've agreed with on every single point known to man. But the difference is Andrew Tate has the balls to say all of that stuff. I don't say
Yeah.
it, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
talking now about sex before marriage and stuff. A lot of people would have different opinions, but they wouldn't say it. But we
Yeah.
actually say it. So now we're obviously going to get hate for this video already because we actually said it.
And I've got a good question for you
Yeah.
about everything we spoke about right now. So you're not going to judge people on their past, so you try not to.
I try not to.
You try not to. So would you date a porn star,
Who's currently a porn star?
an ex-porn star?
Someone's
It's a
actually-
question because we've just spoke about.
Yeah, someone's actually asked me this in the past, and my answer will remain the same: no. And it's no because did you see what Logan Paul went through with Nina?
They're still together.
Yeah,
She wasn't a porn star though.
exactly. And did you see what he went through with her?
Yeah.
How Dylan Dennis mocked him and her with all the photos and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, she can never go on social media her entire life again. Her kids are going to be mocked until the day she dies, right? And she wasn't even a porn star. So if I had to marry a porn star, and let's say I have aspirations to become the next Logan Paul, my wife has naked photos all over the internet, don't you think it's going to make my life miserable, her life miserable, our kids' lives miserable? I wouldn't put them through that. Not in a million years, so no.
Don't you think you could get stronger and live with that?
No, I couldn't live with that. Like, my kids, bro, like, have you never had friends with a hot mom? Like, you made fun of that always? And now imagine she's a porn star and you've got like naked photos.
I hope
How
my
could
son
you
has
do
a
that,
hot,
bro?
a hot mum.
With naked photos on the internet?
Well,
Like, if I had photos here now of your mom naked all the time, bro, and I was showing you the whole time, would you like that?
I mean, it'd be better if not. But if they were, and she's hot, and you have naked photos of her, in my opinion, it's like, okay, well.
Yes, because you're a
she looks
strong
amazing.
character now, bro, because you
Yeah.
are where you are now.
Yeah.
The average person couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that in a million years. Like, I just couldn't.
I could, because when people make fun of it, I know most people are jealous if she's hot and whatever, and they're like, oh, and they're just showing photos. They're jealous. They're trying to bring you down. So it's like, why would I give in to that and give my energy to these people? But that's me now.
Exactly, bro. That took a lot of character to build that, like a lot of strength to build that character. Like, obviously, Andrew Tate's another person who can take that. Like, he's
He would take it.
rock
and-
solid. He would
Yeah.
take it. I
Yeah.
couldn't take it. I'm not strong enough to do that. Like, just the idea, like, I have a little sister, just the idea
But
of
if you
that
loved,
torment.
if you met this girl, okay, and you fell in love with her, and then she told you about her past
We wouldn't fall. Oh, okay, yeah.
after a few months, and you're like, listen, I've got to be honest with you, and I've got to tell you about my past before we move forwards, and I don't know if you're going to be okay with this. This is my past. I left it a year ago, and now I'm a dedicated Christian, and this is my life that I'm living now, and I've changed.
It wouldn't be something I can just answer myself, bro. I'd have to spend time with God and pray about it and just pray for wisdom on it, bro. Because it's a very difficult topic. Because in my
It is
mind,
difficult,
I want to
yeah.
say, like, I would never do it because of the whole picture. If I have goals to be super loud on social media, I wouldn't want to engage in that. But then also you want to be fair towards the person.
Doesn't God forgive everybody?
Yeah, 100%. He does. But I'm
And then
thinking about the... I know,
shouldn't
I
you
can
be able to
forgive her, bro.
forgive
Like,
everybody?
I don't care about her doing that stuff because I did my stuff too. I'm thinking about the future and how it's going to affect my whole family's life into going into the future.
Yeah.
A stunt like that could be massive, bro. Like, if we all found out now, like Andrew Tate dating a porn star, who's been a porn star, like the whole world would talk about it, bro. His name would be true.
No,
Like
they-
he's
they
this guy
have.
with all these values and
No,
stuff,
they
and
have,
dates
they
porn
have.
stars. I know, but they don't make
Yeah.
it like clear to everyone. No one knows who she is, what's her name.
I know. But,
You know?
Yeah.
You want to say it to the camera?
Yeah. I
No.
know when she posted it in one of her posts.
But yeah,
they've
it's
been
a
together.
difficult topic, bro. I think I would have to pray to God like I do about everything and just talk to him and
Yeah.
seek wisdom, bro. It's not something where you just like yes or no. It's complicated.
And then also, before we finish this,
Yeah.
just that you said that your son would have to go through this and might get
Yeah,
bullied and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I have two thoughts on this. Because if my son was to live a very easy life, he would become a very weak person. So the bullying aspect, I don't now see as such a bad thing if you're teaching him to stand up for himself and to be a stronger person. So if he was to get bullied, I'd be teaching him to stand up for himself and not to let this get to him.
Unless you die in a car crash the next day and there's no one there and he just gets depressed and then kills himself,
Or he becomes a strong person.
or he becomes a strong person.
I was
Bullying-
on the edge of doing that, and then I became a stronger person.
Yeah, bro. I guess. Parenting is massive, bro. It's massive. I guess it's our. Andrew Tate also grew up in very harsh environments, I guess, based on what I've heard.
I used to be against bullying. I was the guy in school that if anyone was bullied, I would be the first one, even if you weren't a friend, I would go in there to protect. I'm like
Yeah.
naturally a protector. I'd
Yeah.
never start a fight with anybody, but if someone was picking on somebody, I'm the first one in there to be like, no, don't do that. So, but bullying makes people stronger. It does.
It does.
Most of the
100%.
fighters you see out here have been bullied when they're small. That's
Yeah.
why they're good at fighting.
Yeah.
Most strong people have gone
Yeah.
through hard things. That's why they're strong.
Even the people with like, I'm just thinking about me, like I don't fight physically, but on social media I'm big and I get a lot of hate, bro. But the way I see it now, based on how I saw it like a year ago, I'm almost like immune to it now. Like it just happens. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things, you know?
That's the best mentality to get to. That's the best place you want to get
But
to.
you had to go through so much pain to get there.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to put anyone else through that. But when you come out on the other side, you're such a strong person because I've been through that. Now nothing can touch me, and that makes you strong, bro. Because now you can take actions and do things that other people aren't willing to do, and that's when you get insane results.
Yeah, you want to be a strong person. You want your kids to be strong people.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, bro, we're gonna end it here.
Yeah, let's end it, brother. Peace,
Till
the
the
next
next
one. That's quite long,
That was
huh?
fun, bro.
Yeah, that's sick. Flowing.